so far? Good so far? Yeah, awesome. All right, I'll remind everyone, we're taking Q&A for the session, so please open up the app, let us know. Help me do my job, right? Make my job a little bit easier. Well, guys, welcome so much to the stage. We've been talking a lot about search, about personalization, where AI is going to go, and this is going to be a great panel, right? We've got Cloudbeds, thousands of hotels, Kayak, one of the largest, most prominent search sites in the world, and just some really excellent speakers and insightful people. So Matthias, Adam, thank you for joining us.
Great to be here.
I wanted to start, we were talking a little bit backstage about this conversation that's been happening, right? Where is AI going to be most impactful? Is it on the inspiration side? Is it on the booking side? Is it on the customer service side of things? Rafa doesn't think it's going to be the booking side of things, but we can disagree with him. It's OK. I wanted to ask you guys both this question, and I'll start with you, Matthias, and I'll ask you the same one, Adam. Where do you see, which of those three buckets, inspiration, booking, service, what do you think AI is going to have the biggest impact?
Yeah, so I think right now we see that discovery and servicing are the two biggest areas. When we think about servicing, about customer support, I think there are a lot of success stories out there of really creating efficiencies and better, faster service for the customers. But for us, being a search engine, the discovery side is really exciting. We now have interfaces that allow customers to ask for anything they want. We have interfaces that can relay any information that is out there. And we are in this interesting time where we are building up that information. So it's a little bit of a chicken and the egg, right? So I can now go in and I can ask very specific questions about the pool, but data is not necessarily there right yet. And we now have to work all together and race there to get the data there, because our belief is that in the discovery, we are unlocking a new paradigm of personalization and really finding the content you want fast. Like instead of manually opening 20 hotels to figure out about the pool or the parking or whatever, we think that we will learn to start the search right away with all the specifics that we want to have. And instead of going through 20 hotels, we're just going to get 3 that are all basically bookable for us.
Matthias, thank you for helping me with my job. The title of this is Smarter Search and Personalization. I think you've just made the case, too, that those two things are connected. They're not separate things. They're actually part of the same customer journey. Adam, what are you thinking about on the customer service, discovery, booking side of things? Where's AI most exciting for you?
I think we're going through this really fun shift away from interfaces. So interfaces will become less important, and insight will become the dominant sort of holy grail that we'll be after. We talk about this a lot internally at Cloudbeds, which is like data is human. And when you think about that, each human here has a journey to New York. We're at a conference. We're interacting on AI. Understanding the sort of contextual intelligence of that human allows us to then do the fun stuff like personalization. So understanding why I'm in New York, my purpose, the understanding behind it. Do I want to have experiences? No, I'm here to interact with you all as experiences. So when I understand what is happening in that journey, I can then begin to do those hyper-personalizations that Matthias was talking about. And we can do that at such a predictive basis. It is really insane. And some of the tech that we've built recently sort of builds the foundation around that. So I think that's the most exciting for me.
I do like that point that data is human. That's something that I deal with on my team. I sometimes tell my team that they go like data blind. They're looking so much at the numbers that they're forgetting that the numbers are supposed to represent meaning and people and stories. Matthias, I want to ask you about this big launch on Kayak. Kayak.ai. It's a pretty big relaunch. It's a new way to search your site. Why did you feel the need to do an AI redesign? And what's the traveler reaction been to this? So we've got a clip of it playing right here.
Yeah, so it's a super exciting launch. We went out with it about 3 weeks ago, and you can imagine we planned this for some time. So what this product basically does is that imagine you take all of Kayak's meta search with hundreds of providers. You mix it together with everything that ChatGPT or LLMs know, and then you mix it together with what's today available on the web. And now you have this, you talked about using a travel agent. You now get this travel agent in a pocket that can not only tell you which hotel you should take and how much it's going to cost, it also can tell you what is happening at that time, at the location. Or it can even, like one example that I really like is that I go in there, I get a number of hotels, and I can now ask questions that we may not have. So basically, coming back to the pool, I can now ask about how's the pool in that Ritz-Carlton, and ChatGPT happens to know, or the web search happens to know. And so we can create these new places that are this one-stop assistant that basically you necessarily don't have to leave anymore. You can get everything done there, your transportation, your accommodation, your in-destination experience. And the reason why we do that is, first of all, it allows us to to completely change up meta search into that experience. We are no longer tied to our navigation. We are no longer tied to the layout. We can now suddenly have 3 flight searches in the same conversation, a hotel and a flight search in the same conversation. It doesn't have to be a page that has just been built for flight searches. And last thing, and I think we got this one really right, I think we launched our product maybe 2 weeks before AI mode. I think it's right the time to be out there with this product, and I think we will.
Google's copying you, not the other way
exactly.
around now, right?
And I think everyone will have to be there to play in the future. This is also definitely future-proofing.
And just a quick follow-up, what was the biggest challenge when you built that tool?
I think what really helped us with building a tool is like the dramatic development that happened in the LLM model space, like the models that were available.
Dramatic or traumatic?
Dramatic, so much better. Like the models that were available when we started and the models that are available today are so much better, right?
Got it.
Things that were a little bit wonky when we started are now working just flawlessly. There's a lot of momentum behind that whole industry, which really helps everyone also building products. I think the challenge for us was definitely, like I was just advertising, how wonderful it is to break out of these navigation and layout patterns. That at the same time also means like people can now ask everything, and you need to have a good answer.
Yeah.
And I think we got that figured out now. We're still adding content. Just yesterday, we added car search, and I think we're now the only AI assistant that has car search results for now. Making that magic happen requires a lot of work. And just one example, what to me makes the experience super magical is that holding the context. Like you ask one question, you ask a follow-up question, and you no longer have to repeat what you said before.
Yeah.
Like everything you said before kind of keeps flowing in the conversation. And if we now later combine this with memory, that's when the supercharged personalization happens.
I want to dig a little deeper into that, but Adam, I want to go to you here. And this is kind of a similar question here. AI, smarter search, and personalization. I think when we were talking backstage, you said that personalization is really, really important to you. Cloudbeds has been building a lot of stuff. And I think we do have a clip of that too. Tell me about what your team is working on when it comes to personalization and travel tech and AI.
So about 2 years ago, we started with the idea of building the first sort of vertical-focused LLM or foundation model for the industry. And it's stemmed around a couple sort of silos that exist inside a hotel operation. You have everything that's discovery, you have everything that's marketing, and you have everything that's operational, and oftentimes they're not one decision brain. And when you think about the competing sort of resources that can play in there, the 2 biggest expenses in hotel operations are acquiring your guests and supporting that stay. So we wanted to figure out how could we sort of create a crystal ball at what does a forecast curve look like for a hotel, and then adjoin it to marketing and revenue operational decision making. So we take 5 billion data points that we continuously are evolving. We're looking at that on a real-time basis from 47 different signals. Now, we're a top 10 distributor of inventory around the world. We have over 1.2 million beds, so we're in a position of authority when it comes to the data set. So we can actually predict a hotel's occupancy at a 96% confidence level, 180 days forward for any hotel, anywhere in the world. Inside 90 days, 99% accuracy. That will just get better with more data sources and as it evolves, but that wasn't enough. We had to train it on what a hotel speaks, how it learns, how it evolves. Like pick up and pace is not for a marathon runner in this industry. It means something different. Booking can mean 5 different things to us as an industry. And LLMs, if you look at the total tokens that have been brought from the industry, meaning hotel specific, it's 0.004% of all LLMs that exist. Think about that. We only represent 0.004% of all tokens inside OpenAI right now, or Gemini. That's guessing. We don't understand. They don't understand what we are doing. And so what you saw on the screen was us taking forecasts and then adjoining it to marketing spend, distribution, packaging, upselling, and the operational capacity of a hotel. And that allows us to personalize. That allows us to go to account-based marketing, which is a SaaS term, but like N of one. I'm talking to one human. I can segment down to one human, and I can begin to speak to them.
So can I ask, I mean, I don't exactly know how to phrase this, I should have, but like, you're on the hotel side, you're on the search side. I don't want to call it like too much of a debate, like it's not a versus, but I'm curious, like, one of the big questions that I'm asking myself is who owns the customer? You're getting more personalized. Hoteliers want to use that to drive direct. You're getting more personalized. You want to use that to capture the search. How do we think about where that is going? Who in an AI world, I'm going to start with you, Matthias, and I'll ask you the same question, Adam. Who owns the customer in an AI world? How do you think about the changes to distribution and in a more personalized AI world?
I think, first of all, you have to understand that many customers, they know that they need a place to stay, but they don't know which place yet.
Yeah.
So that's where search and discovery is really important because they have all their needs. And it's also important then for the hotels to represent themselves in the best way. So the 0.04% is bad because nobody knows all the amenities. So it starts with discovery. And so I travel a lot. I have to say I don't have a special loyalty program I follow. I really basically end up with something new all the time. When I like something, I go to the same place again if I revisit the place. And that's maybe where I start to become owned by the hotel. But even then, I have to say, for me, it's still a question of price, right? So like if they are on multiple channels and there's a challenge where I can get it, a channel where I can get it cheaper, I may book there still. So yeah, my answer is I think it's it starts with, maybe it's a co-ownership, but definitely it starts with discovery because you're gonna be coming back with the problem. You know what you want, but you have no idea where you want to stay.
Adam, do you agree with that, or you think it's a different relationship?
I promised my team I'd behave up here. I think it's a co-opetition. I heard that word recently. Like, think of who the biggest ad spenders in this industry are. It's Booking, Expedia, Airbnb, others, and then Google's the beneficiary. And they're also the search portal of dominance. So like, there's this weird frenemy, state that's happening there. But at the end of the day, if they all disappeared overnight, and a lot of hotels would be pumping their hands up and down, the rooms still get sold. There's still this demand that needs them. So I think what happens is there's tremendous value in what Kayak is doing from the AIification of search and discovery, and others are going to do the same thing. But hotels have to wise up and bring that content forward. They have to bring it available. We have to get down to the address level, and we have to understand that address. We have to understand that a hotel has a purpose. It's real estate. It has a geolocation. And then around that, there's things that I can do depending on my purpose, that journey, that human element to it. And I think we're a long ways away. We've built tech that does just that, to try to help these hotels be found, whether it's through our partner, Kayak, or through direct sources. My goal is to optimize revenue on behalf of the hotel and find the cheapest form of optimization.
Guys, we're being way too diplomatic. We want some hot takes here. I'm going to go to you for one, Matthias. Google has really beaten up metasearch over the last 20 years. You're a metasearch company. Are you feeling some schadenfreude, seeing Google on the back foot here? Are we gonna get rid of them?
Look, I mean, Google is certainly very deep in many verticals, including travel. I think the argument that we have here is that we have to be better than them. There is the difference between the general purpose small and department store and somebody who does just one thing.
Yeah.
We are on the side of doing this just one thing. But yeah, it's clearly competitive, and it's not easy competition, right? We don't own the biggest browser. We don't own half of all mobile phones. But that's the travel market is still very, very large, right? So I saw at the beginning where you're saying like, will TripAdvisor have a comeback? I don't have a lot of opinion on TripAdvisor, but I feel like that meta search, I never felt it has been dead, right? It like even in the AI world, and we need to work with someone like Adam to get all the data about the hotels there to merchandise them. Hotels have to think about getting all that content online so that people can discover their pool. But at the end of the day, loyalty will matter, and at the end of the day, price will matter as well. And so I think meta search, if you think about it, as much as AI allows me to get a nicer place or a place that better fits my need, I still look for value as well. And I don't think that the need for value is going to go away because of AI.
Adam, that point about data is a good one. You're all about data. I mean, why, again, I'll phrase this in a somewhat lead-in way, but like why do hotels struggle with data, and how are we going to get them better? Like what needs to happen on the data front to make hotels more AI friendly?
I mean, we were chuckling backstage talking about door locks, like wired door locks, so annoying in the hotel industry, and why is the experience of stay frictionful, right? It is not frictionless by any means. I'm staying at a Marriott property and I couldn't use the digital key again. And I know there's tech providers in this room trying to solve that, but 13% of door locks are digital. Like, that's the problem. It's there. It's like we got to go spend a lot of CapEx and upgrade the door locks, and that's a $200 to $500 cost. And a lot of hotels are struggling even to sort of fill their rooms because of a political nightmare that we're dealing with to some extent with rhetoric, right? Rhetoric.
Is that politics?
No, not politics. That was just a statement. There's no political agenda there. No, but like think about like we're dealing with hope and cope when we have political rhetoric that's completely transforming inbound traffic. I have other things to prioritize over upgrading my door locks. And when 19 different systems are powering the average hotel, unlike one system that can power 14 of them with Cloudbeds, and we're doing a lot more. The data architecture behind us, I have better data than most of you all do from an operations perspective. I can personalize down to one because I can see all the various points of a hotel's operation and create insight that creates an action. I think that's a very unique. So we have been living with lots of fragmentation as an industry, and as a byproduct, those that are savvy, like demand channels, they're hijacking some of that traffic and they're monetizing it.
The fragmentation of the hotel industry is structural, though. I don't think it's going to become a non-fragmented industry, whereas on the digital side, it's a lot easier to consolidate. So what's a hotel owner to do? I mean, you can't solve fragmentation. You're not going to solve the franchise model. Is it like a technology? Like, what do you have to do to get hotels data ready where they can talk about heated pools such that they can get picked up by all the stuff?
Well, look, we started as a PMS, right? That was one of our sort of core capabilities, and then we broadened into CRS, and we can do a whole lot of other things as well. We really do not think of ourselves as a PMS, so please do not call us that. Like, we are a growth engine. Like, we really do believe that we are a revenue generating more than a cost center.
Yeah.
Signals, which is our new product that you saw some visibility, it's integrated in every PMS in the world today, right? So any hotel in the world can use it. Like, it's not confined to Cloudbeds. Now, Cloudbeds version of it is more enriched. It has more access because, again, data architecture of our platform empowers other things that we can do. But if you're an Oracle user on the cloud, you can absolutely take advantage of it today. And we're enriching things on the fly. So we're trying to bring the industry forward. We really do believe that vertical LLM or vertical models will outperform horizontal ones like OpenAI and Gemini long-term and for specificity within our industry. We really do believe that. That being said, it then comes back into the interface and what is the interface that consumers are going to be shopping with, and that's going to change dramatically. I'm not going to get up on stage and say OTAs are dead within 5 years. I don't know. I have no idea what is going to happen with how we operate, but when OpenAI goes and spends $6.5 billion with the guy who invented interfaces, Johnny Ive, like, there's a big statement there, right? That interfaces that we know are going to shift. But let's be honest, Google owns our pocket, and so does Apple. They have a device that's smarter than anything we've seen in 10 years, and then all of a sudden, intelligence is now being layered on it. That's exciting for all of us in this room. So what we're looking at is data and personalizing it down to the human level. You guys are doing the same thing from a supply perspective. That's great. We need more of that.
Matthias, we've got an audience question here about the future of conversational AI. We talked about in my last panel about voice AI. You're talking about mediums. I think that's a good segue to ask that question to you, Matthias. I mean, how do you think about the mediums and the way that people are searching? Will they continue to search on like web browsers? Where are we going with AI, conversational AI, and agentic AI? Dare I say the word?
That's a great question. Yeah, I mean, I think will we add AI pins to the set of accessoires? It's a great question, and how will they work with us? Many, many years ago, we had hotel booking on Alexa. It was like 6,
Yeah.
7 years ago.
Short-lived.
There were some challenges with, how do I get the credit card in there? How do I fill out all the details? A little bit of the legalese. I think we are at the turning point right now where a lot of, more like not a lot, but people start using OpenAI and Perplexity as really like their, personal assistant, therapist, friend, whatever you like. So I think voice interfaces are, Siri is not the best example right now, but I think voice interfaces are really having a breakthrough moment right now. It's a great question. How long will it take until we buy something there? And this comes back to the original question, right? So making a purchase still has a lot of legacy technology in there. Payment, putting your transaction somewhere, all these things. And I'm also not sure, like, if I have this, I can do one vacation a year and it costs me, I don't know, $5,000. Would I just give the agent my credit card and say, run with it? Or do I rather want to watch the window, making sure that it really works out, right? So I definitely think we have to get our solutions ready to work also on voice, which is challenging with the depth of information that we have. One point that gives me hope here, what's really great is that on Kayak AI, what we just improved is that when you, let's say, search for flights or hotels, you of course get like the whole list view with all the details, but we also start to have a textual summary of it.
Yeah.
And that textual summary is going to be really helpful once we come over to voice.
And I think we're wrapping up, but I've got this question. I like this one from Ben. What are the key technical constraints at hotels and airlines and other travel suppliers? And I'll amend the question, and at meta search companies. What are the key technical constraints? So I think it's an interesting question. What are the blockers that are stopping us as an industry from really thriving in an AI world? What do you think, Matthias?
I'm not sure if, I think from my point of view, I would say it's availability of data at this point. It is fragmented in a sense that if I want to know something about a hotel today, I can go to the hotel webpage, I can go to the description, they may be provided to Booking or Expedia, I can go through reviews. I have so many places. There's a challenge with authority of these places and kind of like recency. And so I think, and just one thing, and then to the previous point of Adam, I think distribution is still going to matter for hotels. It's a question like how they manage repeat and if they get the repeat booking directly, but at the beginning, nobody knows you and you need to find distribution. And I hope that everyone will realize that providing that data is going to be a competitive edge for them in the distribution.
Adam, I want to give the last word to you on this similar question. What do we need to do?
Definitely contextual intelligence around the stay, the experience, and then we have to bring all that information to the sources that are going to provide this demand. Consumers are willing, I mean, 73% of consumers in the US are willing to give their information up to AI until it becomes like surveillance tech, right? So like there's an ethical layer here and there's a cliff that we fall off drastically, but there should be a universal ID in travel. I'm shocked that it doesn't exist in 2025. Like, I'm happy to create a coalition of brands.
We're still working on real ID. We're not there yet.
I understand it, but like I think a coalition of brands need to come together, and we should just do it once and for all. And it shouldn't be owned by one group. It should be a nonprofit, but maybe it should be Skift. At the end of the day, I think once we have this sort of personality and then the data of the hotel, we can join the two really efficiently, and we can save $1.2 trillion worth of intermediary costs trying to connect the dots. $1.2 trillion, guys, like that's a shit ton of money. So if we can create that identity and understanding that human on a data level, and then understanding the inefficiencies to finding that consumer that's willing to share, we got it solved. We can all go home and celebrate.
All right, well, on that note, we can go home from this panel and you can enjoy the rest of the day. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you, Adam. Thank you, Matthias. It was wonderful.